And now, our feature presentation.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jay, and welcome back to Gemini Hills. You know, I actually went back to see exactly how long it's been since I've done one of these vlog posts, and can you believe it's actually been since the beginning of March. So, you know, you do the math on that, it's like 6 months since I've sat down to do one of these damn things. Now, you know, I mean, I don't have any delusions of grandeur. I know there's nobody out there saying, oh my God, you know, I wonder when Jay's going to make another one of these posts. I really miss him, you know. And if you're watching on a few platforms, this might be the first time you've ever seen one of these videos. But anyway, 6 months. That's how long it's been since I've sat down to do one of these things. So there it is. I'm trying to get back on the wagon. What happened was that back in March, I could see that my dog's health was really starting to go downhill, and I knew that he really didn't have much longer. So that really kind of became my focus and my priority. And of course, he eventually passed away on May 23rd. If you haven't seen that tribute video, I'll link it down below. For those of you who don't know my situation, here's pretty much how it works. For 9 years, I taught English in South Korea. And, you know, it was a good time, and I have a lot of great memories. I met a lot of great people while I was doing that. But teaching, you know, I'll put it to you this way. My older sister is a teacher, and I would say that she actually has like sort of a calling for that. I mean, she's really made to do it. You know, she's won several teaching awards. She enjoys her work. She really, you know, she's very active in her school, and you know, she gets everything done on time. And you know, it's obvious that this is something that she was made to do. Okay, I always saw teaching as something that I could do, but it wasn't what I really wanted to do. And what I really wanted to do was write. Now, I know that sounds like an adolescent pipe dream. Oh, you want to be a writer, okay? Oh, so does everybody else. But you know, here's the thing is that throughout my life, every time I've really made an effort and put my best foot forward, I've actually had some success with the things that I've written. Most notably, when I was in college, I wrote a short play that still gets performed at least once every couple of years.
That's the damn truth. You two are both short. I'm talking short.
This is an A-B conversation, so you can just see your way out of here.
What the hell are you doing?
The history of all hitherto existing society is a history of class struggle. In order to ensure peace, we must first ensure equality and equal distribution of wealth.
I do not believe this. Lenin, you cannot be a communist and play Monopoly. The whole point of the game is to make everyone else go without.
What?
See, this is why William Faulkner got the Nobel Prize and you didn't. Okay, Napoleon, that was low. Even for you. What's real about it? It's true, isn't it? Well, yes, but how would you appreciate it if I said something like, you're shorter than I am, and that's why I can please your wife and you can't.
Go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
We have Claremont High School 2129 with their performance of the Laramie Project. Oh my God. And in first place, Citrus Valley with Do Not Collect $200.
More recently, I won the H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival's microfiction contest. And then that was in 2019. And then last year I was asked to take part in the round robin story that they also publish. So anyway, all of this said to me that, I've got about a dozen stories that I have in some stage of completion. And I said, if I really sat down and really made an effort with these things, then, I might be able to publish them, self-publish them. But, something needs to happen. I need to set some time aside. So, after 9 years of teaching in Korea, I had a nice savings account set aside. This family home, this home has been in my family for quite a while. This home was sitting empty. So, I had a place to write quietly. And I said, why not go for it? Take a year off and do what you were supposed to do. Now, here's the thing. Once I landed, I left Korea in March of 2020. I went to Hawaii for a while. And right when I got home, my dog started showing signs of illness. This was, March of 2020. And then, so he started showing, his medical problems. And then my mom had a heart procedure, and I had to help out with the family business. So that took up a lot of time in 2020. But now, like I said, I'm back on the horse, and I'm doing what I need to do. So one thing I did as part of getting everything together is that I took a part-time gig at Walmart. And I did this so that, I don't end up destroying my savings account paying for things like, my monthly phone bill and, groceries and Joe Biden gas prices and, all these sorts of things, these monthly expenses. I said, don't destroy your savings account doing this stuff. So what I do is I wake up, I write during the day, and then I go work for a few hours at Walmart. It all seems to kind of work out. But part of working at Walmart is their COVID, what do we call this? Not restrictions. We'd call this their COVID protocols, okay? So part of their COVID protocols, every day when we go in, we have to get our temperature taken, and we also have to answer a little questionnaire. There's an app that we have on our phones, and it says, it asks you questions like, in the last 24 hours, have you used ibuprofen or Tylenol to reduce a fever? Well, on August 17th, I had the day off, but I wasn't feeling well. I felt tired and kind of run down, was coughing a little bit. So when I answered this survey the next day, have you used this to reduce a fever? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have. Okay, and then it says, in the last 24 hours, have you felt fatigue? Yeah, I had that one. Have you, had coughing and, this and that? Yeah, sure. So anyway, I finished the little questionnaire. Usually I just answered no to everything. But this time it said, stay home from work. And I was like, stay home from work? I feel fine, though. Why would I do that? So I talked to one of my managers, and she said, well, just to be on the safe side, why don't you go get tested? So not too far away from work, there's actually a drive-through COVID test place. You just drive up in your car, and they swab you out with a little Q-tip, and 15, 20 minutes later, they come to your car, and they give you your results. So I said, all right, fine. So I went through, I did this thing, and this doctor comes up to my car, and he says, well, sir, you've tested positive. And I said, positive for what? He says, you have COVID-19. I was like, man, I ain't got that shit, man. Your mom's got COVID-19, bitch. I ain't got that shit. Now, of course, I didn't say it in those words exactly, but that was my general vibe. Because here's the thing. When COVID first started, I was still in Korea. It all picked up right around, I'd say, February or March of 2020. And keep in mind, for those of you who are not good at geography, i.e. Americans, Korea is like right next to China. It borders China. Okay, so it starts in China, and of course Korea was like one of the first places that really went through the COVID thing. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, and you can call me culturally insensitive, you can say whatever you want, but this is the truth. Anyone who has ever lived or worked in Korea knows what you're talking about when you say that right now the Koreans are just being really Korean about things. The fact is, Koreans tend to overreact about things. Okay, and so when COVID first started and everyone was wearing masks and all this, to me I was like, they had done the same thing with MERS. They had a MERS outbreak, and then I think there was like a SARS outbreak. There was all these things where people really, really got upset, but they just kind of came and went, and it seemed like, don't panic too much. This is something that'll pass. So, when I was in Korea, back then they still called it coronavirus. People would say, oh my God, are you worried about coronavirus? Are you worried about coronavirus? And no, I'm not. I'm not going to panic about this. My go-to sentence was, I ain't got that shit. And wouldn't you know, from March of 2020 all the way through August of 2021, I didn't have that shit. Okay, and I don't take it lightly. I've had friends who've had it. I've had a couple of friends who were hospitalized, and sadly, I do know some people who've lost loved ones because of it. But I'm going to be honest with you. It's with everything else I had going on, I just didn't think about it. It wasn't something that was on my radar. So when I ended up with COVID, I was like, holy shit, I've got it. So anyway, my main symptoms were fatigue, and that was really the big one. I had some stomach upset that I'm not going to go into, too much detail about. You're welcome. But those were the main things. It was like I took a lot of naps, and if I stood up and moved around too much, I'd start to feel sick again. But apart from that, I didn't lose my sense of taste or my sense of smell. I didn't really cough that much. I didn't have a lot of respiratory symptoms. Here's what happened. My mom brought me a pack of water, left it outside the door, and when I picked it up to bring it inside, like, I had to lay down for like the next day because I just felt so weak and sore after that. But that was my main thing: fatigue, weakness, and stomach upset. Someone told me that those are the main symptoms of the Delta variant, so maybe that's what I had. So, if I had to describe my overall experience, how would I rank my COVID experience? I'll put it this way. I've had 3 other illnesses throughout my life that were similar to COVID. I've had pneumonia, I had an out-of-season influenza, and I also had mono. So if I describe, let me see. If I were to start ranking them, I would say in 4th place, at the absolute worst, was the out-of-season influenza. Okay, I was sick as a dog. I mean, I was really, really sick when I had this. And then doctors couldn't figure out what it was because it was out of season. And finally they figured out, oh man, you've got the flu. I mean, it's not flu season, but you've got it. So that was a rough time. So that was absolute 4th place. Bleh. Okay, that was terrible. All right, coming in at 3rd place was pneumonia. Also not a fun time. It was one of those things where if I took a deep breath, I could actually hear all the fluid in my lungs and just real wheezy sound, this crackly noise. It was no fun at all. There was a lot of that open mouth coughing that turns into choking. You know what I'm talking about? I just felt like death warmed over. So not quite as bad as that out-of-season flu, but pneumonia was next, okay? COVID I would put at 2nd place, okay? So we're going, you see how we're going from worst to best. COVID, like I said, a lot of bed rest, a lot of orange juice, a lot of, just a lot of watching the regular show and listening to the band.
Looks like I'm player 1.
No! It's not fair! You always get your way! Let's play punchies! Let's play punchies! I'm sick of it! Of course I'm not gonna beat you at punchies!
Dude, you don't beat anybody at punchies.
Yes, I do!
No, you don't.
So, it was a couple of rough days, but it was 10 mandatory paid days off of work. And like I said, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever been through. So, yeah, I would put COVID in 2nd place. Yeah, COVID definitely goes 2nd. And of course, that leaves mono at 1st because mono was amazing. All right. After, let's see, first of all, some of you might be asking, mono, isn't that the kissing disease? How did you get mono?
I loved a woman that wasn't clean.
Mrs. Sandberg?
That was her sister.
But, ignoring all that, it was like, honestly, with mono, I had like one rough week, okay, where, it was kind of similar, very weak, very tired. I was in bed a lot, didn't have much of an appetite. Just absolutely dead. But once that was passed, okay, I had these 3 weeks where I felt fine. Okay, but hey, you need more bed rest. You need to get in there before you relapse. I watched the original Star Wars trilogy like 100 million times. I've had so many movie marathons. It was awesome. Okay, so mono still number 1, but COVID, it wasn't number 1, but it was a close 2nd, and I did survive. So that's my COVID experience. Anyway, I don't know if this was interesting to anybody, but there you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. But before I do, there's one more segment that I have. The whole time I had COVID, I had a beer sitting in my fridge that I was waiting for a special time to drink. So I'm going to include a few more details about that in the next segment. So check that out, and I will see you on the next one. Later. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jay. Welcome to the last segment. So I've had this beer sitting around in my fridge for a while. I didn't want to drink it while I had COVID because, I didn't know how it was going to mix with any of the medication I was taking. But I'm ready to try it now. This is actually called Death Fiend, a German-style dark wheat lager. This is actually special because this was homebrewed by a guy that I work with. He's a younger guy, but he's really into like traditional heavy metal and all that kind of stuff. So naturally, we have a lot to talk about. And how cool is this? He homebrews. He made this himself, and his last name is Brewer. So that all just kind of seemed to work out. This is a little bit of. I'm going to read the label to you real quick. He describes it as a traditional German Dunkelweizen brewed to match the ferocity, spirit, and insanity of Hellhammer's cult black metal demos of the early 1980s. So if you're familiar with Hellhammer, Apocalyptic Raids, all that good stuff, that's what this beer is modeled after. So let's dig right in and see how he did with this. Even the bottle cap's got its own little design on it, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. All right, here, let me show you the cap real quick. The cap's even, I don't know if you can see this, but the cap's got like the Hellhammer logo on it, so pretty metal. Alright, let's see how he did with this. That's nice. That's nice, and I'm not just saying that. Death Fiend. Yeah, man. If they sold this in stores, I'd be buying 6-packs of it. Yeah, well done. That would go well with a lot of different stuff. Let me close this out by saying that not only is this a good beer, so well done, Gavin, but I should really make a toast here, of course, to my fallen floof, to Kimchi, gone but never forgotten, and to my buddy JB, who also passed away recently. JB was the most vocal and most avid supporter of these vlogs. He watched everything, gave me suggestions, wanted to collaborate on some stuff, and he is dearly missed as I'm sitting here recording this right now. So to Kimchi and JB, gone but never forgotten. And also a big toast to my buddy John, who just bought a house today. He and his wife signed their paperwork this morning, and they're going to be living right over in the next town over in Ocean Springs. So it'll be great to have them here on the coast. So to all of them and to all of you, thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Alright, it's Easter egg time. If you watch the video all the way through, I really cannot thank you enough. I can't imagine anybody sitting and watching 20 minutes of me, commentating about these things. So if you found this Easter egg, be the first person to comment down below, I found the Easter egg, and I will send you a copy of Lovecraftian Microfiction Collection Volume 5. This one's actually sold out, so it's hard to find, but I will send you a free copy of it if you comment, I found the Easter egg. Be the first one to do it, and I'll send this to you. And thanks again for watching. Later.